Welcome to the 51st episode of Behind the Curtain, and my co-host here today is Rob Murphy. Thank you, Rob, for coming in and co-hosting the event tonight.
No, Joe, thank you for having me. I'm very excited. I've been looking forward to this all day.
Excellent. And tonight, what are we doing? We are doing the film premiere of the Victorian House, the movie. And we have many actors and many directors and many writers here tonight. I'd like you to interview a lot of them. So if you could do me a favor and take the reins there, interview these people, ask them the tough, hard-hitting questions. Like, what questions would you ask them?
Well, a plethora of questions depending on their role, but you know, if they had acted in it before the film, what was the difference in the process, things they liked, things they didn't. You know, questions that should really stimulate the mind.
What about what they had for lunch?
Well, I hope I just have to ask, because if I smell it, we'll have a whole other issue.
Okay.
So,
all right, so I'm going to give you freedom and reins, and those are basic questions. Use what you want. If the interview's going a certain way and you want me to kick them out, we just kick them right out, or you just keep talking to them for as long as you want. But enjoy yourself. Meet these actors. Meet these people. Can I get Connor to come over here for a second? Because I just quickly want to say that Connor was heavily involved in this whole process. He was a camera person, he was an editor, he was a cinematographer, he did the colorization, he had a vision in certain things. I was really pleased with the work that you did there, and I want to thank you so much for everything you did for this. So how did you feel about being part of the project?
Well, it was a great honor. I love working with Joe, always. This is like my third or fourth Joe White production, maybe fifth. I've lost count. But it was challenging at some points. I learned a lot of new things. I had to learn a lot of new things, but I like learning new things. So I took it on, and I think it came out great.
I'm looking forward to seeing it tonight. And Rob, I think one of the things that I wanted to say is that I want to see the people like yourselves be the next generation of coming up and of doing movies, because I love the ideas that the both of you have, and you've written, you've directed, you've acted, you've done a lot of different things, and I just love working with the people like yourselves that are so enthusiastic. So I really look forward to working with you more, and I'd like to give you guys more responsibility and maybe step back a little bit and you guys just run with some ideas and think about it. So my offer to the two of you tonight is to think about some ideas that you might want to do for a film that's coming up, because my next film that I want to do, I don't want it to be based upon a play. I want it to be an original material that we want to think about, but I want you to brainstorm it, think about it, and let's put it together. So that's your challenge for tonight. So I know you didn't know that was coming, but here it is. Think about it, and we'll be back. All right? Thank you. I know I did. Okay.
Hi, Linda. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm very good. So I have to ask, how excited are you tonight to watch this project?
Very excited, because I'm not sure exactly what it's going to end up looking like. I only got to be there for my scene being filmed, so I have no idea what the rest of it is going to be like.
Very cool. Now, were you involved in the stage production as well?
Yes, I was.
Awesome. And do you find that the differences between the two was noticeable, or was it a smooth transition for you?
I think it was a pretty smooth transition. We kept most of it in. We just cut a little bit out just to make it fit better into the whole thing. So, yeah.
Very cool, very cool. Well, I'm excited as you are to see how that goes, and I hope you enjoy it.
Great, thank you.
And here comes Larry, ladies and gentlemen, a man of unquestionable taste. Larry, it's great to see you here tonight.
And you, Rob, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing good. So, Larry, I've had the pleasure of working with you on a handful of occasions, and you're a man of strict non-humor policy on the stage.
Absolutely.
Did you find that was an easy transition for media of this caliber?
I'm not sure what you just asked.
Ladies and gentlemen, Larry. No, Larry, honest question here. So I know that you did the stage production show. I know you were with me there. Did you find that it was easy to make that switch to the camera?
Yes, absolutely. Actually, I found the camera easier because you can take more takes.
It's a fair point.
You can screw up and they'll just do it again.
And as far as they're concerned, the tape gets erased and no one ever sees it kind of mentality. I really like that.
It's all digital now, so they don't scream at you because you're wasting film.
Yeah, I know. Trust me, all that old school tech where you had to roll it in, and must have been a pain.
I'm old.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Larry. It was wonderful seeing you, and I hope you enjoy the show tonight. Good evening.
Good. How are you?
Oh, I'm so good. I'm so excited to be here. I'm so excited to talk.
Exciting. Another premiere, another Joe White premiere.
And as you know, Joe White premieres are always the best premiere.
Behind the camera, we have part of the crew here that shot this fabulous movie.
Yes, and they are quite a fashionable bunch, wouldn't you agree? It's a really nice button-up.
He's also a fabulous actor.
I'm excited to see that.
Yes.
So you produced this play, am I correct?
I did.
That's fantastic. Is this your first play that you've produced, or is there a long history?
No, we've actually done, Joe and I have done probably 3 or 4 now together.
Oh, wow, that's amazing.
We've done The Interns, we've done Nearly News, the movie, and we did therapy sessions, and now this one. So
Wow, yeah, so I remember therapy sessions. That was wonderful.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. Well, I really hope that you enjoy it tonight. I really hope that,
I
it
can't
comes out
wait.
well.
I can't wait to see it. Thank you very much.
No, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, Phil. Phil, how are you?
I'm just fine. I was on mute.
No, I understand. So I've heard that the playlist is yours in the background. Is this true?
That's true. Yeah.
Well, you have a wonderful collection of music. Is that because you're a sound man?
Not at all. I just knew that they wouldn't like to hear 70s and 80s. So this is all 2015. And
Well, speak for yourself. I happen to be a huge fan of the 70s and 80s. So, really quick here, you did the sound for this production, and tell me what that process is like.
it's a lot of grunt work is what it is.
Fair enough.
You gotta lift these heavy speakers and put them, on the stands. And there's this little hole in the bottom of the speakers. And you have to get it just right to sit on the stand. Sometimes you're sitting there trying to find it.
Playing a giant jigsaw puzzle you can't even see. I can appreciate that. Well, I hope tonight that this show lives up to your sound standards.
Oh, it will.
Awesome,
sure.
awesome. Well, thanks for coming out, Phil. Dave, great to see you tonight. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. So tell me what it was like here to switch from reading on stage to being in front of a camera.
Well, being in front of a camera is an entirely unique experience. You have to be a bit more present. You have to be a bit more intimate. You don't have to project as much.
That was a joke from our old show that we did together.
Oh, yeah. So it was a lot of fun, actually.
Now, sorry to cut you off, but do you find that you enjoyed the theater aspect more or in front of the camera? If you had to choose.
Oh, my goodness. That's sort of like asking which of your children are your favorites. I mean,
Which one is your favorite?
Tonight the movie is the favorite.
That's a good answer. All right, well, I hope it lives up to your standards, and I look forward to seeing you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming out.
Come on in. I just want to say one thing there. The combination of this group here, I know you can't see Todd right now, but Todd over there, camera work, all they did. Connor was here, most of the filming shoots, but it was Connor and Allison that kind of gelled it all together. And the fact that I had to email them like 18,000 times, 5,000 texts.
In one day. Just in one day.
Just that Monday. Yeah, and then Tuesday we did a little more. But you guys were just so fantastic to work with. The final product up there speaks for itself, and she was just fantastic. Let's just say that before you interview her. What is it like to deal with 8,000 texts and emails from me on a daily basis?
Well, as I can speak for myself, I had landed, and within minutes, Joe had texted me. So I totally understand. He is an aggressive texter.
That's why phones make do not disturb.
That's excellent. I should do that. So you want to tell me a little bit about what you did here?
So I edited together the whole entire film. I did one pass through, got pretty much decided what shots, what lines we were using, which camera angles, and then sent it over to Connor, and Connor worked his magic and made it look better.
Made it look better. All right. So tell me a little bit about the editing. Is that a complicated process? It sounds like it would take a lot of time.
It was kind of complicated. We had sometimes 3 or 4 camera angles that all had to be sunk up, and then sometimes an actor would screw up a line, so we would then have to go to a completely different take and find it somewhere else. And
Wow.
I'd say this is a 59-minute film. I think it has about 40 hours, at least of my time, in editing and picking out the best pieces and deciding where there should be like a breath, where there should be like where we
A
should
break or something of that.
where should we move a line around, or yeah.
That's amazing. 40 hours. Now, with this particular show, did you find that there was more hours? Have you, in recent memory, remembered one with more? Where does this kind of fit in terms of the workload that went into it?
A typical Joe White project.
A typical Joe White project. Well, I'm excited to see it. I hope it turns out really well, especially for your work.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming out. Bianca, ladies and gentlemen. Bianca, hello. How are you this evening?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Oh, I am doing great. So, tell me a little bit about what you did here and walk me through the process of being in front of the camera.
So I reprised my role in the 50s scene. And it was a lot different from acting, just trying to remember exactly what I did on film for each take and then trying to like recreate that from scene to scene. You know, when you're on the stage, you do it once and you just hope it's a good take and you just go from there, right?
Right.
And then with film, like, you're trying to get that perfect scene, but then you have to remember what did that perfect scene look like when you do the next take.
So I have to ask, the stresses that come with being on stage versus the stresses that media, which one did you prefer, if any?
I think I really enjoy the energy of a live audience and being able to feed off of that and really feeling like if there's moments to like improv a line, there's like kind of that energy when I'm on stage. With film, like it was a little bit more difficult to like build up that energy, you know, because you don't have that reciprocating factor with a live audience. But
no, I completely agree. I think the live energy can be contagious.
Right.
So, all right, well, I'm really excited to see how you do on here, and I hope you like it as well.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for coming out. Awesome. Julie, it's so great to see you here tonight. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm really good. I'm excited. I can't wait to see this movie.
Oh, I'm excited too. So tell me a little bit about what your role was here.
So sure, when we first got together to create the Victorian House Catering Company, a bunch of us writers came together. We wrote a bunch of scenes to take place over various decades. I wrote a scene that took place in the 50s at a prom. I wrote a scene that took place about 2025. It was a mob meeting of families coming together to discuss mob issues. And then I directed those two scenes on stage, and another writer had written a scene called The Sausage Factory, and I directed that scene. And so for the movie, I directed all three scenes again.
Well, that's amazing. Now, did you find that there was a clear difference between directing on stage versus directing in front of camera?
Yeah, there was definitely a difference. I would say the biggest difference is when I'm directing for the stage, I want people to go bigger and bigger. I want big hand movements and big facial expressions. But when you're doing that on camera, you're focusing in on their face and you don't want the big expressions because then it looks like somebody's overacting. So I'm getting my actors who did it on stage, who are used to stage acting, bring it down, make it smaller and smaller, so you're looking for micro expressions instead of the big waving of the hands.
Now, I know when you're on stage, you can feed off the audience and that helps fuel your performance going forward. What did you tell your actors to convey to that camera, knowing that all of it had to be created from them?
So what I did with the actors was, one, I was watching, and I think I've directed a lot of them, I think they trust me. But for them, I was really just trying to get them to focus on what it is they were trying to convey in general, as opposed to an audience. I want my actors to be in the moment and feel the experience and feel what the characters are feeling. Yes, on stage it's great because you're feeding off of the audience laughter, but at the same time, you're doing a completely different art form for media.
Wow, no, I can kind of understand that. So I'm really excited to see this. I'm excited to see how it comes out, and I hope it works out the way that you envisioned.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, well, how are you this evening?
I'm good. How are you, Rob?
Oh, I'm so good. I'm really excited for you to be here. Now, did you have a role in this? What was your part?
Yes, I did. I forget my name, but yes.
Well, that is me on a daily basis.
How's that? We're interesting.
We are interesting. Now, if you'd like, we can just leave that interview there, leave you as the mysterious stranger.
Serious. See if you recognize me. I'm working with Larry in the scene. It's one of the last scenes.
Working with Larry is always a treat. I've had a chance to work with him in the past, and he is just a real all-star.
He is. He's awesome.
All right. Well, I'm excited to see that scene, and I'm excited to see how that pans out.
Do I have to move off that way?
You can walk off whichever way you want.
Here we go.
Have a good evening. Tim, how are you this evening?
I am doing great, thank you. I can't wait for my Hollywood debut. This is so exciting.
Hollywood debut. Let's not burst any bubbles here. So tell me about what you did. Tell me. All right. Well, we should cut the camera here because this is going to get ugly real quick. So tell me a little bit about what you did here this evening.
Oh, I was in a scene involving, I had a date with a much younger woman than me, and we were at New Year's Eve. And it goes on to talk about the possibility of the Y2K, year 2000 thing. You're too young. You wouldn't.
I would have been 7.
I was going to say, exactly. So,
7.
you wouldn't know.
So that's something I've read about on the internet.
Well, now you'll know.
Now I'll know. So now you also did this on stage, am I correct?
No.
No. So you took this role on. You're a fill-in. All right. Well, tell me about what that process was like for you, being in front of the camera.
Oh, it was interesting. Very different because you had retakes, which you don't have when you're on a play. So
Exactly.
that's a big difference.
So did you find that was a helpful thing, or were you? How did you react to that?
A little bit, but it gave me an opportunity to fix my mistakes,
Right,
which was a
right.
good thing.
Right, to see what you were doing and maybe tweak it a little bit. That's awesome. Well, I'm really excited to see how that turns out, and I hope you enjoy it.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
No, thank you. Have a good evening. If you guys can't hear, this is Aiden, and this is a man who has claimed it's going to be his year multiple years. Aiden, has it been your year?
Yep, and next year is going to be my year. The year after that, probably not.
Not.
It's not in the schedule, you know?
No, I see you calling your shot. That's fantastic. So, Aiden, tell me a little bit about what you did here this evening.
So I drove here. I stopped and got gas.
Excellent. Where?
Right on Route 9, actually. Yeah, it was
Really?
It was great.
I had a lot of gas stations on 9.
Then I showed up.
Mm-hmm.
Paid for my ticket.
Okay.
And then I walked in here.
Yep.
And this weird kid was
Yep.
like, hey, come over here for an interview. And I was like, I
Here,
guess.
that guy is the worst. Now, with rising inflation prices, did you think your ticket was a little too much?
You know, with the stock market decline lately, I wasn't on board, you know? But hey.
I actually just watched the movie The Big Short, so I get it. Money is crazy. Well, Aiden, tell me a little bit about your character. Oh, you were not even in this. No, yeah, you were. Oh, this is awkward. We're going to cut this. Great seeing you, Aiden. All right, everyone. Oh, the backwards walk. Surprisingly, we haven't seen that tonight. All right, I'm here with Arnie. Arnie, how are you this evening?
Good to see you. What are you doing here?
I'm actually interviewing. Joe has, against my will, forced me into this. And if anyone's listening, help.
How does that work? What do you do?
I feel like we've flipped the gears on me. Well, you know what? Interviewing's a really tough process. I have to ask engaging questions that both will keep the audience captivated and the people I'm asking.
How do you decide what to ask?
Would you believe me if I said it was a hand-in-the-hat situation? Just go at random, see what comes out.
Like coming from your head, that's saying a lot.
Yes, it is. I am quite the airhead.
Is he still talking?
Joe! Well, yeah, so, okay.
Look at this guy. Who is he? Some stranger. Security.
Oh, boy.
Well, you know what? You'd be a great security guard in a play that we were doing about an airport.
Is it like in the past?
Anyone else feel lost here?
Yeah, Back to the Future. Anyway.
Well, make sure you keep your flux capacitor in hand, and I am looking forward to seeing you tonight, and I hope you enjoy it.
Don't tell me what to do.
Oh, boy. Ladies and gentlemen, Arnie. Someone who I've been told inspires everyone. Hello, Carol. It's great to see you this evening. How are you?
Great to see you. Very well.
Oh, that's glad. I'm so glad to hear that. So tell me a little bit about what you did here.
What I did? Well, I was kind of a mob boss.
Terrifying.
Yes. I know.
Now, I know that you also did this on stage. Am I correct?
That's correct.
Excellent. So tell me a little bit about the difference that you felt between doing it on stage and doing it in front of the camera.
Well, doing it on stage, of course, the audience is a little further away. When you're doing it on camera, enlarged. So I guess all the little flaws are going to show more. Hopefully they stood back when they were filming it.
Now, I've been told that Joe is unbearable to work with in theater. Did you find that he was equally terrible behind the camera?
Well, it did take a long time to fill the 5 minutes that I'm on there. About 4.5 hours.
Well, that just sounds like a hefty workload. Well, Carol, I'm really excited to see it, and I hope you enjoy it.
I'm sure I will.
Awesome. No, thank you. You have a good evening. All right, well, good evening, sir. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. So you were a writer, I'm told, for this.
Yes, that's correct.
Awesome. Tell me what inspired you.
Well, really, I didn't really know much going in. I was just talking with Joe, and I sort of got to read his opening thing and a couple of the earlier submissions, and I sort of went, let me sort of just like work within the world, and then I got permission from Joe to sort of go into the future, and as soon as I got to go into the future, I was like, all right, we can have a little bit of fun.
Now you're locked in. Exactly. Now, I don't know about you, but when I write in text speak. Mm-hmm. Now, do you find that you equally do that, or do you kind of play with the fonts?
I kind of just sort of, like, I sort of write how I like write an essay. I sort of like have like ideas, and then once I have like the ideas in place, I just sort of like just go.
You just ride it out and see what happens.
I just go with it. I'm like, well, this person would say this, and then well, this person would then say this, and it sort of just like bounces off. And usually the first draft is usually pretty close to how it finishes.
Really? See, I find that I'm always very different. I also wrote, and there was a lot of work, a lot of drafts. So good on you for having a one draft and then just kind of going with it. Now, you also made the tweaks for the media version of this, am I right? Did you have to change anything, or did you find that it transitioned well?
It transitioned really well. I mean, I was working with Joe for most of it, and he basically sort of like gave me the recommendation, and we sort of workshopped it together, but it really wasn't that hard, and I'm sure it's going to translate very well.
I'm really excited to hear that. Last question. I hear that Joe smells like a farm. Can you confirm or deny this?
No comment.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have no comment. Well, I hope you enjoy this. I'm really excited to see it, and have yourself a good evening. Thank you. Yeah, that is a man who is oozing confidence. Jerry, it's great to see you here tonight. How are you?
I'm good.
He's good. He's good. All right, so Jerry, tell me.
I'm a man of few words.
But unbridled talent. Jerry, I know you for a fact did this on stage. I worked with you. You're wonderful. On media, do you find that you're still able to carry your personality, or what? Tell me what that's like. Nailing it, Jerry. Nailing it. Follow-up.
Here's what I think. I think that acting is acting. I think for the stage, projection means a lot. And I think being smaller for film. But acting is acting. You still have to feel whatever you're doing. So,
do you find that without being able to feed off an audience, you can still bring to the character what you were able to do originally?
Sure, maybe even more so, because sometimes the audience can propel you, sometimes they can throw you off. So maybe even more so, because you can really prepare for it, and you get a second chance.
That's
and
true.
A third chance, and a fourth chance, and a fifth chance.
As many chances as there are batteries in the camera. Well, Jerry, I'm really excited to see how this works out tonight, and I hope you enjoy it.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Relationship. It's so good. It's so good. It's so good. Oh, now watch he falls down.
Perfect. Joe, how are you this evening?
I'm on cloud nine. This is fantastic.
All right, well, I'd really like it if you came to the show. So if you could get off the cloud, come on down. That would be great.
Okay. All right. I'll be there in about 10 or 15 minutes.
Excellent. All right, cut. No, honestly, Joe. So you wrote, you directed, and you were in this, both theatrical version and the camera version. Tell me what that was like for you.
It was actually very great because we had so many different actors and directors. I think in the play itself we had almost like 7 or 8 directors. Mm-hmm. In the movie we had 4 or 5 different directors. So it was great seeing everyone's different perspective on things and how they do things. Once again, I go back to the tech team and how well they did of compiling it all together.
Mm-hmm. Tech team's wonderful.
They're amazing. The tech's great. And I just appreciate all the work that everyone put into it. And tonight's the night that everyone gets to see the final product, and I'm real proud of it.
I bet it's going to be really great. Now, I want to ask you, as somebody who both acts and directs kind of in a similar scene, do you find that you're tweaking yourself while you're acting, kind of stuck in that director mind frame, or is it an easy flow for you?
It's tough. It's tough because I'm critical of myself as I'm doing it, and then I'm even more critical when I see it on the screen, and I want to, like in the editing room later on, I want to do it over and over and over again. Mm-hmm. So the one thing I was telling the other directors who maybe not have done film before was take as many shots as you want to see, because when you're looking at it in the editing room, mm-hmm. you have more to choose from as opposed to, ooh, I'm kind of stuck with that one shot because that's the only thing I have. So it's painful for the actors sometimes to do it over and over and over again, but I think it's worth it when you're editing it.
You've been described as having an incredibly beautiful, almost angelic voice. Do you find that it's hard not to break out in song midway through scene, with that voice?
Now, oddly enough, there's a reason I don't sing, is because it breaks glass and it hurts dogs' ears. So one of the reasons we've never done a musical mm-hmm. is my lack of ability to sing. But I'm always willing to listen to a musical, and I'll sit back and produce it. So, but no, angelical is not the word people would use when I sing. Just ask Phil Jajari about my singing capabilities.
All right, well, I'll be sure to follow up with him. Well, I'm really excited to see how this turned out, and I hope you enjoyed as well.
And thank you so much for doing everything you're doing up here, Rob. I appreciate it.
Joe is holding me against my will. Send help.
Well, thank you, everybody, for coming tonight. It's a crowd tonight. I appreciate everybody making it out on a Friday night, October 4th, with the world premiere of the Victorian House, the film. Okay. So not only is it a film premiere, it's Marconi's, we're renaming the theater back here. It used to be the Ashland VFW Theater. Now we are naming it the newly named Marconi's Theater at the VFW. So your first time at the Marconi's Theater at the VFW. So at this time, let me hand over the mic to State Rep Jack Lewis. Is he here? There he is. Okay, sir. Thank you so much for coming tonight. Jack's one of our sponsors. He's given us some donations for the to have some of the people donate. I appreciate your donation. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much. This is your little way of making it up to me. When you announced last year you were going to do Rocky Horror Picture Show, I kid you not, I was slimming down to get into trying out. If anyone in Ashland could have been Dr. Frankenfurter, I was thinking it could be me. And when the event didn't happen, I gave up, stopped singing in the shower, and put away the lingerie. But in all honesty, really appreciate what you do. Every time I see some of the stuff you put together, it makes me regret quitting drama club in middle school and seeing my own. But I could do Rocky Horror. I could come out. All of me, besides 4. But in all honesty, my 2 youngest are in the drama club at their elementary school, and just seeing them, I'm optimistic that I can live vicariously through them, at least in this one. But thank you everyone for coming, and thanks for the opportunity.
Just quickly, I want to thank a bunch of our partners. My theater partner, Kim Walbridge from Marconi's and Company. She's out there. There, she's over there. She's bartending tonight. We do rent the space from her for the shows, but she opens this place up for us to do all of our rehearsals. And I think that's something that is just, you can't imagine the flexibility that it gives us. And she's just been a fantastic partner. So please keep drinking and don't drive, but have a great time and give her really big tips. My TV partner from WACA, Barbara Chisholm. Barbara, where are you? Barbara, you're just so fantastic to work with. And I appreciate everything you do, and the people that work for you are just unbelievable. I can't imagine working with anybody else. They're just so wonderful. Quickly, the directors of the show. Julie Murphy, fantastic director tonight. This movie was done with 4 different directors. With Julie Murphy, Katie Shanda Reynolds, and Alessandra Horton could not make it here tonight, unfortunately. They send their regrets, and they say thank you very much for coming to see their production. And then the egomaniacal Joe White was in it as well. We had an assistant director that was here every single performance and show and shoot and film and kept us on track. Katrina Lieberger, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. We had all the wonderful and talented actors. I'm not going to mention them all. You'll see the credits at the end, but it's just been phenomenal to work with all of them. Not all of them could be here tonight, but they really came, and they came prepared, and every time we did something, we said, let's do that one more time. They said, Joe, come on, please, it's midnight. But they were fantastic to work with. The writers, in the 60s scene, Arnie, Larry, and David and I collaborated on that. I want to thank them so much for all of their contributions there. Julie Murphy, Morgan Walbridge, Sam Semarini, Katie Shanda Reynolds, and once again, the Eagle guy, Joe White, wrote some of these things. So it takes that many people to do this kind of work. But before we go, I want to thank a special moment to thank a few very, very special people to me. One, Phil Jajari, my very, very good friend, my neighbor, my dogs, your dog and my dog are kind of getting married soon. He's such a sound expert. I want to thank you for everything you do, for not only all the things that we do, and keep me alert and send me those Joe White pay attention emails. I appreciate that so much. And then 3 people that, if they weren't involved in this project, as many people that I just mentioned, if it wasn't for Todd Carter coming to all of the shows to film. The work that Allison Rose did in the editing and creating and dealing with my 8,000 emails a day about, no, let's try this, let's do that, let's edit this, let's put this in. And then Connor Donovan, who was just a very creative process all the way through filming and everything. So I want a round of applause to everybody that I just mentioned. So it takes all those people to do that, and every single one of them, I really, really, really appreciate their time, and I love working with all of you. Thank you.
I've got an idea that I want to pitch to you.
Yeah, you said something about a historical documentary?
140 years it hosted some of the world's best and even the strangest parties. But you know, it's not the history that you want. You want breaking news, live as things are happening.
Yeah, how we report things in this century.
Lorraine, can we just show our audiences how things used to be in better days? When people came to places like this to celebrate.
Fine. Go ahead, tell me about this place.
Well, let me tell you the story from the beginning then. The Victorian House was first established in 1899